Okay, so this is week 10, sorry, week 9, chapter 10, motivating employees. Uh, this pertains to sort of HR, not HR, but more HR based, human resource based, managing employees, what type of strategies and methodologies work or theories that are proposed based upon scientific observations. So as far as your classwork is concerned, uh, as far as the exams are concerned, you're looking at, you know, there's some questions I'll answer. Last day of the semester is the last uh, week 15. So if you look at your calendar on the content folder in Brightspace, if you look at the content folder, you'll see week 15. You'll see the dates on week 15. That's the last day. So you'll see the last day of that week. That's the last day of class. The last day of the semester officially is on the BMCC calendar. So if you Google BMCC Spring 2025 calendar, you'll pull up the calendar for BMCC and it tells you last day of the semester, last day of class, last day of registration. It gives you the whole breakdown. As for the final is like the midterm, but it won't have the midterm questions on it. The midterm was from chapters 1 to 7. The final is going to be everything after that. So essentially, after week 7, after week 8. So what we're going over now, essentially week 9 to week 15, that's the all that material is the final. So you won't go over what you went over already during the midterm. You'll just go over the second half of what you didn't do, which is the second half of the course, week 9 to week 15, which is your final. Okay. So uh let's continue. So these definitions are on the exam, right? So workers, job satisfaction, what is that? The value of motivation, excuse me. Happy workers can lead to happy customers, which leads to successful businesses. Unhappy workers are likely to lead, which is costly. All right. So this deals with employee engagement, employee experience. What motivates people? Intrinsic. So this is the definition: intrinsic rewards, extrinsic rewards. So intrinsic rewards are personal satisfaction. Extrinsic rewards are external recognition, like pay raises, promotions. Intrinsic is you feeling good about the type of work you do. So one is internal, which is intrinsic. One is external, which is extrinsic. So Frederick Taylor is considered the father of scientific management. So studying workers to find the most efficient ways of doing things and then teaching people those techniques. So three key elements to increase productivity: time, methods of work, rules of work. So Frederick Douglass went over the time motion study, and this is more pertaining to uh, people working a job that's more physical, like maybe you're working on a factory line or assembly line, right? So you're an assembly line worker, you're a factory worker, because this is old days, right? People weren't sitting in front of computers typing all day. It wasn't traditional office work, it was more manual labor. So his studies and his observations are more toward uh, time motion studies. So looking at the physical motion or physical activity that's required to do the task, right? Uh, bolt screws into a machine or something, right? What does that require? So time motion study is studies in which tasks must be performed to complete a job and the time needed to do each task, right? So through his observation, you can see, efficiencies, standards for setting goals, Frank and Lillian Gilbert developed the principle of motion economy, the theory that every job can be broken down to a series of elementary motions. Again, scientific management viewed people largely as machines that needed to be properly programmed. This applies more so to, I'll say, old school work, manual labor work, less so office jobs. Okay, so the Elton, Mayo, and Hawthorne studies, researchers studied worker efficiency under different lights. So what they saw is that the lighting of the environment affected the uh, the worker productivity. So if you had poorly lit rooms, workers didn't work so well, right? Natural lighting from the sunlight had a much more positive impact. So working under natural light, having, windows with lighting during the day created a better work environment than artificial lighting as well. That's a separate factor, just for your knowledge. But the definition for you is, Elton Mayo and Hawthorne study the Hawthorne effect, the tendency for people to act differently uh, when they know they're being studied, and also the productivity increase regardless of. Now they're saying here the productivity increased regardless of light condition. Researchers decided it was human or psychological factors at play. So what I just told you is contrary to what they're saying here, but in actuality, uh, studies found that having natural lighting, sunlight actually does improve mood. It improves visual eyesight as well. So if you're working in artificial light, it actually deteriorates your eyes more than if you're working under natural light, which this is studies not pertaining to that. I'm just giving you additional information to let you know that lighting does matter in terms of work efficiency, work efficacy. Uh, Natural lighting has a better effect than artificial lighting. Natural lighting is better for your eyesight than artificial lighting, right? So if you're in a dark room looking at a computer, bad for your eyes. Open up a window, open up a curtain, let some natural light in. It's better for your eyes. But as far as this study is concerned, your definition for your class, productivity increase regardless of light condition, and they're trying to say that human or psychological factors play a bigger role. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs pertains to needs based on the idea that motivation comes from individuals having different needs, and these needs are motivators, right? So the highest level of need down to the most basic level, right? So the basic level being the bigger one is you have basic psychological needs that need to be met first, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization. I would say this is actually very important in terms of understanding a needs assessment for people, what they need. Uh, you can have a job, right? And it's not meeting your physiological, I said psychological, I mean physiological needs, safety needs. You can have a job. There's just maybe not so much here, but in other countries, safety is an issue. You know, uh, safety is an issue in terms of like in China, they had this factory where they locked people in the factory and they couldn't. I think it's is it 995 or something? The Chinese work not I think it's like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 5 days a week or something. It's something like that. I can't remember. Or nine. So they literally were locking people inside the factories, and people were so depressed and I guess this suffering from depression, they would jump out the windows and kill themselves. So they started doing is they put safety nets to prevent that, which is crazy. Anyway, No, it's not 9 to 5. China is like 9 to 9. I forgot what they call it. It's some, pardon my French, some asshole billionaire from China coined the phrase in terms of the work ethic. I'll tell you in a bit. If you just give me a second, it's not a US terminology. 996. You could Google 996 working hour system. I'll just read it briefly. The 996 working hour system is a work scheduled practice illegally by some Chinese companies. It derives its name from requirement that employees work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days per week, 12 hours per day. So, uh, good for the employer, right? But not good for the employee because it's not meeting their physiological needs, safety needs. I doubt they have much of a social life. Uh, how motivated can they really be? Okay. So, Herzberg's motivation factors, Frederick Herzberg research, what creates enthusiasm for workers. He found that job content factors were most important to workers. Workers like to feel like they contribute to the company. Job environment factors maintain satisfaction but do not motivate employees. So he went over motivators and hygiene factors. So motivators are job factors that cause employees to be productive. Hygiene factors were job factors that could cause dissatisfaction if missing, but that do not necessarily motivate employees. So he sort of, you want to identify what are the motivators. So these are the examples. Motivators, the work itself, the achievement, the recognition. Hygiene factors are company policy, supervision, things of that sort. I would say working conditions sometimes are more important based upon your job. So this is a relationship between Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Herzberg's theory of factors, sort of seeing where the hierarchy of needs and the Herzberg factors kind of overlap. So you're seeing the relationship there. So there's the theory X and Y, theory Y from McGregor, Douglas McGregor. Another definition you want to remember. Uh, Douglas McGregor observed that managers' attitudes can fall under one of two categories or a set of assumptions, which are theory X, theory Y. All right. So theory X is that workers dislike work and seek to avoid it. Workers must be forced. Workers prefer to be directed. Workers primary motivators are fear and punishment. Y is the complete opposite, right? The theory X is super depressing. Theory Y, more humanistic and normal. Okay, that's just what it is. I don't know anyone that would enjoy theory X, but hey, if your manager's into theory X, then they're probably having HR issues. Ochi's theory Z, William Ochi. So he was looking at the cultural differences between U.S. and Japan. He called U.S. type A, Japan type J. He noticed that type J Japanese are committed to the organization and group, and type A is more focused on the individual. So type Z or theory Z is sort of a hybrid approach between the American offset of individualism and the Japanese offset of commitment to the group and organization. So you'll see here sort of this hybridization of the two thought processes. Okay. Long-term employment, collective decision-making, individual responsibility, slow evaluation and promotion, implicit informal control, and explicit formalized control. Moderately specialized career paths, holistic concern for employees, including family. Sounds nice, right? Here's sort of a breakdown of those theories broken down there. So goal setting theory is the idea that setting ambitious but attainable goals can motivate workers and improve performance of those goals. Management by objectives involves it's more for the management involves a cycle of discussion, review, and evaluation of objectives among top and middle level managers. supervisors, and employees. So essentially, it's managers formulating goals in cooperation with everyone in the organization. What are those goals? What are those objectives? So on and so forth. Expectancy theory is the amount of effort employees exert on a specific task. So that's sort of employees being able to understand if they can actually accomplish a task. I can give you a goal and a task. You may not know how to complete it. You may not understand how to complete it. You may not be able to figure out how to complete it. Management just can't give you goals. They have to set a expectation of how to achieve that goal, believably, realistically, and that's sort of a sign of good leadership is they set goals and they set realistic goals and they show you how to achieve the goal. And that achievable goal is repeatable, deliverable, scalable, understandable. If leadership can't do that, leadership is trash. Okay. The leadership is useless. Okay, leadership has to be able to set those goals, guide you those goals, help you achieve those goals. You as the employee just have to do the work, and it has to be realistic because sometimes it's not realistic. But anyway, equity theory, the idea that employees try to maintain equity between inputs and outputs compared to others in positions. So workers often base perception of their outcomes on a specific person or group. So this is where you have perceived inequities or equities between other people in the group. You want to make sure that you maintain equity between what is given, what is taken, and what the other employees are enabled to. And then there's job enrichment, a motivational strategy that emphasizes motivating the worker through the job itself, uh, motivating through open communication, recognizing job recognition. This is more global stuff. Cultural differences make workers' motivation a challenge because different countries, different generations see motivation differently, right? This is different generations here. And yeah, so that's the last slide is the motivating across generations. So students, we will see each other again next week. For the student who wanted to speak with me after class, please send me a private email and I will send you a link for us to chat tomorrow, okay? And in the meantime, take care, everybody.
Take care.
What's your private email?
If you go to Brightspace, you'll see a picture of my face and my email's posted there in our
All right,
class.
all right, thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.